Welcome to another deep dive. Today we'll be looking into Isle of Cats Duel. So this is a game where we're rescuing cats.
Right.
We're not just, playing cards. We're actually rescuing these felines from this mystical island. It's threatened by this villain, Vesh Darkhand. And we've got a whole stack of sources here, from the rule book to strategy guides, and you're looking for the inside scoop on how to be a master feline rescuer.
It's more than just collecting cute cats. There's a surprising amount of strategy involved in navigating the island, optimizing your boat space, and outwitting your opponent to rescue the most valuable felines.
It's not as simple as it looks.
No.
So let's break down the core gameplay.
Okay.
So we're both citizens of Squalls and
Right.
this haven for rescued cats, and we each have a boat to fill. What are the key actions that we need to take to succeed in this rescue mission?
So each game is divided into 4 days.
Okay.
And each day you have a chance to explore the island using a special Oshak's figure. Think of it as your guide through the island's landscapes. As you move the Oshaks, you'll be collecting cat tiles, treasure tiles, and various cards that add an extra layer of strategy to your rescue efforts.
So we're moving around this island, picking up cats and treasures.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there's got to be more to it than just grabbing whatever we see.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the strategic considerations we need to keep in mind as we explore?
Well, the island is a limited space with different regions that attract different types of cats.
Okay.
Do you go for the clustered groups of common breeds?
Right.
Or do you risk venturing into more dangerous territories for a chance to rescue rarer, more valuable cats? Each decision has consequences, especially when you consider your opponent's moves.
Oh, it's like chess.
It is like chess, with
like-
cats.
With cats, exactly. And speaking of the cats,
Yes.
we've got 6 unique breeds to contend with, each with its own quirks and preferences.
Yeah.
This isn't just a one-size-fits-all rescue mission.
Yeah, exactly. Take the Cheruvian cats, for example. They're known for their stealthy nature and are typically found in the overgrown woods of the island. If you're aiming to collect a Cheruvian family, you'll need to prioritize exploring those wooded areas, perhaps even risking a few encounters with less desirable creatures along the way.
So knowing the different cat breeds and their habitats is crucial for efficient exploration.
Absolutely.
We can't just wander around aimlessly hoping to stumble upon the cats we need. Sounds like a good strategy is to target specific breeds based on their location and potential point value.
Precisely. And it's not just about the cats themselves. You also need to be mindful of those treasure tiles and the different types of cards you acquire.
Right.
These elements add layers of complexity and strategic depth to the game.
Right. So let's unpack these treasures and cards. What role do they play in our overall strategy? Are they just bonus points, or do they have a more significant impact on the game?
Treasures are essential for completing certain lesson cards, which are essentially objectives that reward you for achieving specific goals. Some lessons might require you to collect a certain number of treasures, while others might focus on rescuing specific cat families or having a balanced variety of breeds on your boat.
So it's not just about hoarding cats. We need to be strategic about collecting treasures and pursuing those lesson card objectives to maximize our points.
Yeah.
It's like juggling multiple goals while trying to outmaneuver our opponent.
Exactly. And then we have the instant cards,
Oh,
which can be used at strategic moments to shake things up. These cards allow for clever maneuvers like rearranging tiles on your boat, gaining extra resources, or even stealing a cat from your opponent.
Wait, we can steal cats.
You can?
From each other.
Yes!
Now that adds a whole new level of competition. I can already imagine the tension building as we try to outwit each other and secure those precious feline companions.
It's all part of the fun, but let's not forget about the most crucial element of the game.
Okay.
Your boat.
Right.
It's not just a mode of transportation.
Right.
It's a giant spatial puzzle where every tile placement matters.
Right. We touched on that earlier. You mentioned that maximizing boat space is essential to avoid penalties. What are some tips or strategies for optimizing our tile placement? It sounds like it could get quite challenging, especially with those uniquely shaped cat and treasure tiles.
A common mistake is trying to create perfect cat families too early in the game. This can lead to awkward gaps and wasted space, making it difficult to accommodate new tiles as the game progresses. Instead, focus on building a flexible layout, allowing you to adapt to the tiles you acquire and minimize those dreaded empty spaces.
So it's more about strategic placement than just trying to force those cat families together?
Right.
It's about anticipating future tile acquisitions and creating a layout that can adapt to those unpredictable shapes.
Precisely. You need to think several steps ahead, considering not only the current state of your boat, but also the potential tiles you might acquire in future rounds.
Yeah. It sounds like mastering the spatial puzzle element of the boat is key to success in Isle of Cats Duel. We can't just focus on collecting cats and treasures. We need to be mindful of how we arrange those pieces on our boat to maximize space and avoid penalties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a delicate balancing act requiring both strategic foresight and a keen eye for spatial arrangement.
And to make things even more challenging, there are those pesky rats lurking on the island.
Yes.
We briefly mentioned them earlier.
Yes.
But how do those little critters affect our score?
Right.
And what can we do to mitigate their impact?
Rats represent wasted space and inefficiency. At the end of the game, you lose points for every visible rat on your boat.
Yeah.
It's a constant reminder to optimize your tile placement and avoid leaving gaps where those pesky rodents can hide.
So it's like a double penalty. Not only do those empty spaces lose us points directly,
Right.
but they also attract rats,
Yeah.
further diminishing our final score. It sounds like we need to be extra careful about how we arrange our tiles and aim for a tightly packed boat with minimal gaps.
Precisely. And that's where those fish actions come into play.
Oh, right.
Remember those fish tokens you acquire throughout the game?
Yeah.
They can be spent on special actions that give you more flexibility and control over your tile placement.
Oh, right. We haven't delved into those fish actions yet.
Yeah.
You mentioned they can be used for things like extra movement or special tile placements. How do they fit into our overall strategy, and are there any specific situations where they become particularly valuable?
Fish actions are like strategic tools you can use to overcome challenges or create advantageous situations. You might use them to reach a distant cluster of cats, jump over an obstacle to grab a valuable treasure,
Okay.
or even rearrange tiles on your boat to eliminate a particularly troublesome rat infestation.
So they're like little bursts of strategic power that we can unleash at just the right moment to gain an edge. It sounds like knowing when and how to utilize those fish actions effectively is crucial for mastering the game.
Absolutely. They add an extra layer of strategic depth, allowing for clever maneuvers and calculated risk that can turn the tide in your favor.
This is getting really interesting. We've covered the basics of gameplay, the importance of boat optimization, and the strategic roles of treasures cards and fish actions. But I'm curious to learn more about those specific cat breeds and their unique characteristics.
Each breed has its own story to tell,
Yeah.
its own preferences, and its own strategic implications for gameplay.
Right.
Let's delve into the world of these fascinating felines and uncover the secrets that make them such valuable companions in our rescue mission.
Okay, let's dive into the wonderful world of cats. I'm eager to learn more about those stealthy Teruvians, the majestic starry Vandermills, and those adorable lazy blue hissnippers. Each breed sounds so intriguing.
Each one is a delight to discover, and understanding their quirks will be key to your success on the island.
Excellent.
Let's start with those intriguing starry Vandermills, known for their love of heights and haunting howls.
Perfect. I'm ready to unlock the secrets of these feline companions and learn how to best approach rescuing them from the clutches of Vesh Darkand. Let's begin our journey into the heart of the island's cat population.
Let's go.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Isle of Cats Duel. Before the break, we were talking about those starry Vandermills and their preference for heights. Does that mean we'll usually find them in certain areas of the island?
You'll often find them perched atop the tallest ruins, their sleek black fur shimmering in the moonlight. They're quite a sight to behold, and their haunting howls echo through the island's valleys.
Wow. So if we're aiming to build a Vandermill family on our boat, we'd be wise to prioritize exploring those ruined areas, even if it means facing a bit more danger. But what about those lazy blue hissnippers? Where do they like to hang out?
Ah, the hissnippers. They're a breed known for their love of comfort and sunshine. You'll often find them lounging in the sun-drenched clearings, their fluffy blue fur practically blending in with the sky.
Sounds like rescuing them would be a bit easier as long as we're willing to venture into those open clearings. But wouldn't that make us more vulnerable to our opponent's moves?
It's a trade-off. The hissnippers might be easier to acquire, but their point value is relatively low compared to the rarer breeds. You'll need to weigh the risks and rewards carefully.
So it's not just about rescuing as many cats as possible. It's about prioritizing the breeds that align with our overall strategy and the lesson cards we're aiming to complete. It's like a balancing act between quantity and quality.
Exactly. And then we have the orange Mafoxites, known for their fiery temperament and speed. These felines are a challenge to catch, darting through the dense forests and rocky outcrops of the island.
They sound like the rebels of the cat world. Do they tend to be scattered across the island, or are there specific areas where they congregate?
They're notoriously difficult to predict. You might find one alone, or you might stumble upon a small group. Their movements are as unpredictable as their tempers.
So rescuing mock sites is a bit of a gamble. We might get lucky and find a cluster, or we might spend valuable time chasing after solitary felines with limited success.
It's a risk some players are willing to take, especially if they're aiming for certain lesson cards that reward collecting specific cat families. The mock sites, despite their unpredictable nature, can be quite valuable if you can manage to gather a family.
Okay, so we've got the stealthy Teruvians in the woods, the majestic Vandermills in the ruins, the lazy hiss-nippers in the clearings, and the fiery mock sites darting through the forests. That leaves us with two more breeds to uncover, the crystal garments and the mysterious oshaks. What can you tell us about these fascinating felines?
The crystal garments are a sight to behold. Their fur shimmers with an ethereal emerald glow, particularly striking in the darkness of the island's caves. They're drawn to these hidden spaces, their luminous coats illuminating the cavern walls.
They sound absolutely magical. It seems like rescuing them would involve exploring those dark and potentially dangerous caves. Is there a strategic advantage to collecting garments, or are they more of a visual treat?
They're both visually stunning, yes, but strategically valuable as well. They tend to be found in clustered groups, making it easier to form families and score those precious points.
So if we're looking for a quick boost to our cat family score, targeting the garments in those caves might be a good approach.
Yeah.
But what about the oshaks? We know they're the rarest breed on the island, but we haven't really talked about their role in the game.
The oshaks are shrouded in mystery. They're the guides, the guardians of the island's secrets. You won't find them clustered like the garments or confined to specific areas like the Vandermills. They roam freely, appearing in unexpected places, as if testing our intuition and our commitment to the rescue mission.
So rescuing an oshaks is a matter of luck and opportunity. We can't specifically target them, but we should always be prepared for their sudden appearance. Are they worth a lot of points, or is their value more symbolic, reflecting their status as the island's protectors?
They're incredibly valuable, both in points and in the strategic advantage they can provide. They act as wildcards, able to substitute for any other breed when forming families.
That's incredibly useful. It's like having a trump card that can fill in any gaps in our cat family collection. It seems like rescuing an oshaks could be a game changer, especially in the later stages when we're trying to maximize our family scores.
Precisely. They're a prize worth pursuing, even if it means taking a detour from your planned route or risking a confrontation with your opponent.
Okay, so we've got a good understanding of the different cat breeds, their habitats, and their strategic value in the game. But let's shift our focus to the boat optimization aspect. We talked about avoiding empty spaces and those pesky rats, but are there any other tips or tricks for maximizing our boat space and scoring those valuable points?
Remember those treasure maps scattered across your boat? They're not just decorative elements, they add another layer of strategic depth to your tile placement.
Right, you mentioned that matching a cat tile to a treasure map of the same color unlocks a bonus treasure. But is there more to it than just grabbing extra treasures? Does it affect our overall score in any other way?
Placing a cat on a matching treasure map not only grants you an extra treasure, but also activates a special scoring bonus associated with that specific map. Some maps might grant you points for adjacent cat families, while others might reward you for having a certain number of cats of that particular color on your boat.
So it's not just about collecting treasures, it's about activating those map bonuses to further boost our score. It's like a hidden layer of point scoring opportunities that we need to be aware of.
Exactly. And the strategic placement of cats on those treasure maps can make a significant difference in your final score. You need to consider not only the cat's color, but also its position on the map and its potential to activate adjacent bonuses.
It's like a mini game within the game.
Oh.
We're not just fitting tiles together, we're strategically placing them to maximize those map bonuses and outmaneuver our opponent.
And don't forget about those lesson cards. They often have specific requirements related to treasure maps, such as having a certain number of maps activated or collecting a specific combination of treasures.
It seems like everything is interconnected. We need to be mindful of the cats we collect, the treasures we acquire, the lesson cards we're pursuing, and how those elements interact with the treasure maps on our boat.
Precisely. Isle of Cats Duel is a game of interconnected systems and strategic choices. Each decision has ripple effects, and success depends on understanding those connections and optimizing your gameplay accordingly.
We've talked about those pesky rats and how they penalize us for wasted space. Are there any specific strategies for dealing with them, or is it simply a matter of minimizing empty spaces as much as possible?
While minimizing gaps is essential, there are a few tricks you can employ. Remember those instant cards we discussed earlier? Some of them allow you to rearrange tiles on your boat, potentially covering up exposed rats.
So we can use those instant cards as a sort of cleanup crew, shifting tiles around to eliminate those rat infestations and mitigate their negative impact on our score. It's like a last-minute save that can salvage a potentially disastrous situation.
Exactly. And sometimes a well-timed instant card can make all the difference between victory and defeat. They're not just about offensive maneuvers or resource boosts. They can be used defensively to protect your score and outwit your opponent.
It seems like mastering those instant cards is crucial for success in Isle of Cats Duel. They add a layer of unpredictability and strategic depth that can keep players on their toes.
And that's what makes this game so engaging. It's a constant dance between planning ahead and adapting to the ever-changing dynamics of the game. You need to be both strategic and flexible, anticipating your opponent's moves while seizing opportunities as they arise.
This is all fascinating stuff. We've covered the cat breeds, the boat optimization, the strategic use of cards, and even the importance of those seemingly insignificant rats. But there's one element we haven't really explored in depth, those mysterious Oshaks creatures and their connection to the island's lore.
Ah, the Oshaks. They're more than just wild cards in the game. They're the keepers of the island's secrets, the embodiment of its ancient wisdom. Let's delve into their world and uncover the mysteries they hold.
Okay, let's unlock those secrets. I'm eager to learn more about these enigmatic creatures and their role in this grand feline rescue mission. Let's journey into the heart of the island's lore and discover the hidden connections between the Oshaks the cats and the looming threat of Vesh Darkhand. Welcome back to our deep dive into the fascinating world of Isle of Cats Duel. We've explored the gameplay of the cats and the strategic intricacies of boat building, but now we're venturing into the realm of lore. I'm really intrigued by these Oshaks creatures. They seem to be more than just cute additions to the game.
The Oshaks are central to the island's mystique. They're depicted as wise and ancient beings, almost ethereal in their presence. The rulebook hints at a deep connection between the Oshaks and the cats, suggesting a symbiotic relationship that goes back centuries.
That makes me think about how we use the Oshaks figure to explore the island. It's as though we're working with them, relying on their guidance to navigate this mystical landscape and rescue the cats.
Exactly. It's not just a random game piece. The Oshaks figure represents a collaboration, a partnership between us, the players, and these ancient guardians of the island.
So there's this element of respect and trust involved. We're not just exploiting the island's resources. We're working in harmony with the Oshaks to protect the cats from the looming threat of Vesh Darkhand.
And that brings us to the heart of the conflict. Who is Vesh Darkhand, and why is he so intent on destroying this feline paradise? The rulebook paints him as a formidable villain, a force of destruction and chaos.
I get the sense that there's more to his story than just being a power-hungry antagonist. The rulebook mentions ancient trees and sacred rocks being threatened by his arrival. It feels like there's a deeper, more symbolic conflict at play.
Many fans speculate that Vesh represents the encroaching forces of modernization and industrialization, a threat to the island's natural harmony and the ancient ways of the Oshaks and the cats.
That adds a whole new layer of depth to the game's narrative. We're not just rescuing cats, we're protecting a way of life, a delicate balance between nature and tradition. It makes our mission feel even more meaningful.
Exactly. It elevates the game beyond a simple competition and transforms it into a struggle for preservation, a battle against the forces that threaten to disrupt the island's fragile ecosystem.
This reminds me of the different cat breeds and their unique habitats. The Cheruvians prefer the dense woods, the Vandermills seek the heights of ancient ruins, and the Crystal Garmins find refuge in the darkness of caves. It's as if each breed is connected to a specific aspect of the island's natural environment.
And that connection is vital. The rulebook emphasizes the importance of keeping cat families together, suggesting that their strength lies in their unity and their bond with their natural surroundings.
So it's not just about collecting random cats, it's about preserving their families, their social structures, and their connection to the island's diverse ecosystems.
Precisely. It adds a layer of ecological awareness to the game, encouraging us to consider the impact of our actions on the island's delicate balance.
This whole discussion about the Oshaks Vesh Darkhand and the symbolic conflict between modernization and tradition has really enriched my understanding of Isle of Cats Duel. It's no longer just a game about rescuing cats. It's a story about preserving a way of life, a celebration of the interconnectedness of nature and community.
And that's what makes this game so compelling. It blends strategic gameplay with a thought-provoking narrative, inviting us to engage with themes that resonate far beyond the game board. It's a reminder that even in the midst of playful competition, we can find opportunities to learn, grow, and connect with deeper values.
I completely agree. This deep dive has been a fascinating journey, taking us from the basic mechanics of the game to the depths of its lore and the underlying message of conservation and respect for nature. So to wrap things up, what would you say to someone who's hesitant to try Isle of Cats Duel? Maybe thinking it's just another cute cat game.
I'd say don't be fooled by the adorable exterior. Beneath those charming cat illustrations lies a game of surprising depth and strategic complexity. It's a game that challenges your mind, engages your heart, and invites you to explore a world where compassion and strategy go hand in hand.
Beautifully said. So to all our listeners out there, set sail for the Isle of Cats.
Yeah.
Embrace the challenge, connect with those adorable feline companions, and discover the magic that awaits in this enchanting game. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Isle of Cats Duel. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of board games.